1. Introduction. The Welsh Government is committed to supporting a society where diversity is embraced and valued for the positive impact it has. Disabled people bring different perspectives, skills and expertise, which it is important to value, recognise and strengthen. The Welsh Government is committed to this plan, which is influenced by every policy area and endorsed by this Welsh Government. This plan sets out our cross-government 10-year framework, which expresses the ambition and outcomes we want to achieve to ensure disabled people can flourish as equal members of Welsh society and to challenge discrimination and prejudice. All organisations across Wales and people themselves need to work together to realise this ambition. In 2021, the proportion of disabled people in Wales was 21%, 670,000 people. The proportion of disabled people within the population increased with age, and females were more likely than males to report being disabled. We know disabled people face multiple forms of discrimination and exclusion in education, employment, health, housing, transport, and more. Of the working age population in 2024, disabled people were more likely to have no qualifications, 15%, than non-disabled people, 5%. Employment rates for disabled people aged 16 to 64 are 29 percentage points lower than non-disabled people, year ending June 2025. 1 in 7 disabled people, or people with a limiting long-standing illness, lived in a household in material deprivation, compared with 1 in 10 people who were not disabled. 2024-25 National Survey Wales. Disability Rights Task Force. The COVID-19 pandemic impacted the lives of people across the globe, intensifying inequalities and socio-economic disadvantage. In Wales, COVID disproportionately impacted some communities. In July 2021, the Locked Out: Liberating Disabled People's Lives and Rights in Wales Beyond COVID-19 report highlighted the inequalities experienced by disabled people in society. One of the responses to the report was to set up the Disability Rights Task Force, a partnership between Welsh Government and stakeholders and co-chaired by the Cabinet Secretary for Social Justice, Trefnydd, and Chief Whip, Jane Hutt, MS, and Professor Debbie Foster, Cardiff University, and author of the Locked Out report. The task force formed 10 thematic working groups to recommend action that would improve disabled people's lives. These were embedding an understanding of the social model of disability across Wales, access to services, including communications and technology, independent living, social care, independent living, health, travel, employment and income, affordable and accessible housing, children and young people, access to justice, well-being as a workshop. The task force operated on the principle of co-production with over 350 external stakeholders and 200 Welsh Government policy officials working together to develop recommendations aimed at improving outcomes and ensuring the rights of disabled people in Wales are fully realised. Disabled people were active partners and leaders in the task force's process, sharing insights and lived experiences, which have shaped actions to address disabled people's rights and dismantle existing barriers. The principle of nothing about us without us is essential for ensuring that disabled people are actively involved in matters that affect their lives. The task force's co-produced recommendations have been used to inform the actions and outcomes of this important plan. These recommendations will continue to be an important resource that Welsh Government can return to in the future, to set out its medium to long-term actions to deliver the ambition and outcomes for disabled people set out in this 10-year plan. Who is this plan for? The Equality Act 2010 is an important piece of legislation that aims to protect disabled people from discrimination and to promote equality of opportunity. The Act makes it unlawful for employers, education providers, service providers, and others to discriminate against a disabled person because of something arising as a result of their difference, impairment, or health condition. A significant part of the Equality Act 2010 is the requirement for employers, service providers, and others to make reasonable adjustments for disabled people. This includes taking steps to remove barriers that may prevent disabled individuals from accessing employment, education, or services. The Act also protects people from being treated unfairly because they are a carer or support worker for a disabled person. Case law has shown that the word disabled can include people with learning disabilities, e.g. Down syndrome, physical differences or impairments, e.g. people who may use mobility aids such as a walking frame or wheelchair, sensory differences or impairments, e.g. vision differences, people who are deaf-blind, long-term health conditions, e.g. diabetes, asthma, Crohn's disease, specific learning difficulties, e.g. dyslexia, mental health conditions, e.g. depression, anxiety, progressive health conditions, e.g. dementia, cancer, Parkinson's disease, and people who are neurodivergent, e.g. attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It is important to recognise that although the examples above illustrate some of the ways in which people may be considered disabled under the law, not everyone with these experiences or conditions will identify as disabled. Identity is shaped by individual choices and circumstances. Disabled people with fluctuating or dynamic health conditions may face additional barriers in accessing consistent support, appropriate workplace adjustments, and full social participation. Addressing these challenges requires flexible and responsive approaches across services, workplaces, and society to ensure their rights and needs are met. Our overarching ambition. We will make Wales an inclusive, accessible nation where disabled people can assert, access, and enforce their rights. We will ensure disabled people can participate fully in every aspect of Welsh life, without limits, restrictions, or discrimination. Our commitment extends to making all aspects of Welsh life, including health, education, employment, housing, and travel, accessible. We are determined to lead the way in digital inclusion, with our ambition to support citizens, should they choose, to meet the minimum digital living standard, ensuring that no one in Wales is left behind. Together, we will work with disabled people, parents and carers to remove barriers, uphold individual and collective rights, and foster a society where everyone's personal strengths, intersecting identities and contributions are understood, valued and celebrated.